Woo-hoo! The sun is shining and it's 65 degrees outside, which is like 17 degrees Celsius. The snow is melting. I saw some of my backyard for the first time in a month, and the mood is lifted. But I know it's fall, spring. We'll get another snowstorm yet because it is southern New England. But for now, join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we continue this month's Hoya updates. And before we get underway, I'd like to take this opportunity to send out a special thank you to Loves Yorkies 3395 and to Orchid Man 66, who bought me coffees recently. Your support for my channel goes a long way in keeping me in Hoyas and Dischidias and the other plants, the technology and infrastructure that make these videos possible, and it means quite a bit to me personally, so thank you all very much for your support. And before we get to the updates, I've got a bloomer this week, and I'm really happy about it. And this is my Stephania pierii. Now, it's often known as Stephania erecta, and who wouldn't want to have one of those in their collection? It has done so well for me this spring. The vine starts here, comes up over the top, down the back, up this other side, and it will probably keep on going. I think those leaves are very, very cool. See if I can do this without spilling anything. And the blooms, I probably won't be able to show these off terribly well, but they are absolutely tiny. And I will try and put some close-ups. But those are the blooms. And there are blooms all along this vine. And it looks like there's another vine coming out at the bottom back here. So yeah, this is done really well. It's a Codex plant, and I just repotted it this fall, and I think it's gonna do fine. This is the start of my second summer, although summer's not here yet, but let's say second year with this, and it does not disappoint. So yeah, that's cool. This is Stephania pierii, sometimes called Stephania erecta. And the first one up today has been here for 3 months, and that's my Nepenthes alata. Now, Nepenthes alata is native to the Philippines. It was first published in 1837 in Flora de Filipinas, según el sistema sexual de Linneo, or Flora of the Philippines, according to Linnaeus' sexual system. And I don't know what Linnaeus' sexual system is, but we're open and accepting here, so we'll run with it. And it was published by Manuel Maria Blanco Ramos. And I had never grown a Nepenthes before. And I thought I'd like to try another carnivorous plant. I have a Drosera and a Pinguicula, and they have addressed my fungus gnat issues happily. And actually, one of them's in bloom right now. Again, it's my Pinguicula Moctezuma. But we're not talking about that one today. We're talking about, behave, my Nepenthes. And it is pushing out some new pictures. And there's a new one coming in here. And it's on the whole doing pretty well. Yeah, I have a couple friends who grow Nepenthes, and I thought, you know, that's kind of neat. Let's try one of those. So I have it growing in moss and some cocoa husk chunks. It's in a hanging basket because I had plans to put it somewhere where it gets a decent amount of sun, because I was told they like that. And yeah, when I moved it from its original nursery pot, do I have I should have an earlier picture of it over here, or video clip or something. I'll pop that in. But when I moved it from its original nursery pot to this, I discovered it was in a mesh plug. And so you get, I think you've got to get rid of that. Despite they tell you it will dissolve and rot away. It never has in my experience, so I decided to get rid of it. It probably did a little bit of damage to the roots, but I think in the long run, it's going to be a better setup for this plant. Settled it in this, and it's pushed out quite a few new leaves, and those new pictures over here, there's another one hopefully coming in on this side, another one coming in here, and there is a new leaf making an appearance. And it looks like it's already got a picture growing on that. It's not a staggeringly beautiful plant. There's no splash. It's just an even green. It's kind of a vine type of plant in there. See that? But the pictures are what it's all about. And so, yeah, I'm very happy with this. It's done well for me. And I think now that the warmer weather's coming and everything else is just working in its favor, it's going to be an amazing little plant in a while. If the rest of the pictures come in like that, this one lost its lid. But yeah, it was one of the original ones. We'll see. And you can see the liquid. I'll see if I can get a picture of that. I don't know if I'll be able to show it, but you can see the liquid in the bottom of this. So yeah, these are going to come out on the porch in the summer because there's a few greater chances for insects, maybe even out on the front porch. I'll have to think about that. Maybe. Because they'll be able to fatten up and get nice and plump out there. But yeah, this is done really well. I'm happy with it. It's entertaining and fun and something kind of unique. This one came from Jordan's Jungle in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and this is my Nepenthes alata. Now to a Hoya that's been here for 1 year, and this is my Hoya fitchii. Now, Hoya fitchii is native to the Philippines. It was first published in 2009 in Fraterna, Official Bulletin for the International Hoya Association by Robert Dale Kloppenberg. And I think the leaves on this plant are very, very pretty. If I get that to show them off. Very nice, lighter green. I think that may be because of the amount of light it's getting. And nice light veins. I had one of these, and I'd had it for quite some time, but it never really grew. It never really did anything, and I was somewhat frustrated. And again, one of those conversations where you think, well, maybe it's just this particular plant. Because sometimes you get what one of you described as a dud plant. It's just not a strong, healthy, I'm doing some trellising as I babble. It's just not a strong, healthy sample of the plant. It's not the grower's fault. It's not anything. It just sometimes happens. So sometimes if you get another one, you get a better result. And that's what happened with me. This one came from Plant Haven, Toronto. It arrived as a nice little starter, and I think I should have a picture of it over here. Hopefully I was being good. And I settled it in. It was ready to go into its typical long-term care facility. It's got a nice little root system on it. It's got moisture. Keeping up with the watering has been tough. It's got a nice little root system. It's doing very well. Has not bloomed yet, but it's pretty enough that that's kind of okay. It's got interesting foliage, so I can live with the foliage until the blooms show up. Yeah. It's growing in pond and self-watering. It seems to be doing well, putting out lots of new growth. So I think in a very short time, this is an optimistic trellis. This will be filled like that part of it is, and that will make for a very pretty plant. It's You can tell the warmer weather is on the way because everybody's going crazy in here. every day I've got to come in and figure out who's gotten tangled in with who. And this was tangled in with Sungwookie and one of my Oreosparts sabaensis over here on the shelf. So it's done very well. I'm happy with it. As I said, this one came from Plant Haven, Toronto, and this is Hoya fitchii. And now some plants that have been here for 2 years. And the first one up is my Hoya verticillata. And this is the variety known as pink, or known by the descriptor pink. Now, verticillata is native to Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei, Cambodia, South Central and Southeast China and Hainan Island, to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Assam in India, to Java, Kalimantan, the Lesser Sunda Islands, Sulawesi, and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Laos, Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. So essentially all of Southeastern Asia and the Pacific. It was first published in 1821 in Revisiones Plantarum Succulentarum, or Reviews of Succulent Plants, by Adrian Hardy Haworth. And it was named by the Latin term verticillatus, which means whorled or whorl. W-H-O-R-L, not what you were thinking. And it's done pretty well. I have a couple of these. This one may have been the one that was formerly known as acuta. I have a variegated acuta up here, or verticillata acuta up here. And the leaves are pretty enough. You know, that's nice enough. They're interesting. Under good, strong light, there's a little bit of a darker margin. There's a slightly raised central rib and raised side ribs and veins. And it's pretty. You know, it's definitely, I mean, you look at that and you go, that's a verticillata. No two ways about that. So that's cool, but it hasn't bloomed for me. Now, my other acuta verticillata up here has, but it did take it a very long time to get established. And I actually don't remember how long that was. It was probably at least 2 years. So maybe this one's right on track. I don't even see any peduncles yet. It currently lives slightly pulled back from my southeast facing window, about, I'm going to say, a foot or 30 centimeters pulled back. So it gets some early morning direct sunlight and fallout light from the rest of the plants. Plant light's in here, so it's doing okay. I should have a picture over here of what it looked like when it first showed up. Again, if I was being good, and I'm trying to be good, but you know, stuff happens. So yeah, it's been okay. It grows. It hasn't given me any difficulties. So, you know, no complaints. I just wish I'd like to see the pink part of the Hoya verticillata pink, and I haven't yet. Not that we're putting any pressure on you. No, we would never do that. Not in front of the camera anyway. We'll berate you after they've gone. There's a little bit of splash, but you know, it's a green plant. You know, no two ways about it. It's a green plant. So yeah, I'm going to grow it out, see what happens, and see what we can get out of this one. Hopefully this summer. I've got warm weather and sunshine, even though it's fall spring. So I'm hopeful, and things are taking off like, oh my, sorry. I just looked over at my Hoya Lee, and it's like, there's vines coming out everywhere. So that puppy needs some attention. Oh, maybe blooms back in there. I can't get to that right now. Anyway, this one came from Plants Wake You Up, and this is Hoya verticillata pink. And also here for 2 years is a Hoya that makes me smile. And that's my Hoya stenophylla. Ooh, this is going to be a good one for the white paper thing. Now, Hoya stenophylla is native to New Guinea, which means Papua in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. It was first published in 1913 in the Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie, or a botanical yearbooks for systematics, plant history, and plant geography by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And the name comes from the Greek words stenos, meaning slender, and phylla, meaning leaves. And I can't guess how they came up with that name, can you? Yeah. This has just been a really cool plant. And this spring, I'm counting this as spring, it has just started going to town. It needs a larger trellis, but it's got some very nice healthy vines coming in. These leaves are, I think they're just wild. They are approximately 1/8 of an inch wide, which is approximately 3 centimeters. Yeah, let's say 3 centimeters. And the longer ones are approximately 3.5 or 9 centimeters. So yeah, that's long and skinny. They have a recessed central rib. There may be side ribs or veins, but I don't see them. It's got a nice medium dark color. Do I have any more? Nope, I don't. And I have it growing. It's growing right over here. So it's growing between my southeast facing window and my Sansi grow lights over here. So it's in between them. So it gets a little bit of bright indirect, really indirect light. It might get a little bit of sun in the early morning because of the angle, but it doesn't seem to mind that. And I think it's very, very cool. It is going to get a retrellising in the spring when it gets warmer. I have a lot of retrellising to do in here, so I want a chance where I can take it out and spread it out on a big table on the porch and take my time and do it well. This is not an optimistic trellis. This is only about 10 inches or 26 centimeters. I think it could handle an optimistic trellis with no difficulty. This could look kind of pretty trailing, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have a good spot to have a plant. I have to watch trailing stuff. I'm running out of room for everything, but trailing plants need a hunk of wall or something to hang from, and there's just not a lot of that in here. I'll have to see if I can get something else. Anyway, I'm going to set it up. I'm not going to have it trail. Don't have room for that. This is done really well. This is, again, no drama, no trauma. It started growing almost right away. I have it in pon and self-watering. There's no roots poking out the bottom yet, but that kind of doesn't surprise me. The stems will get a little woody. I mean, there's woody surface on the stems up to about here, and the rest of it is pretty flexible and green. So yeah, it's just one of those plants that makes me smile. It's so much fun. It's so cool. It's so different, and they tell you that all Hoyas look alike. No, they don't. Don't be silly. They don't look alike. They're all cool. This one also came from Plants That Wake You Up, and this is my Hoya stenophylla. And now a couple plants have been here for 3 years. And the first one up doesn't look terribly good, but it's on the mend. So this is my Hoya lacunosa snowcaps. Now, Hoya lacunosa is native to Myanmar, Thailand, to Malaysia, which includes Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak on the island of Borneo, to Brunei, to the Philippines, and to Kalimantan, Java, and Sumatra in Indonesia. I think I got everybody in there. Yeah, Philippines, Thailand. Okay. Yep, we're good. And so last spring actually, I moved this into one of my large self-watering pots. I gotta set this down a little, it's heavy. And these self-watering pots do not have a window to see what's inside. So I know exactly how much moisture, how much liquid will fit in the bottom reservoir of this. And there's a plug in the bottom. And what I do is I pour, it will hold 2 cups, which is like 450 milliliters. So I'll measure it out, I'll pour it in, I'll wait a couple minutes and then pull the plug on the bottom and let any excess drain out. And that's where I screwed up. I didn't do that. I just added 2 more cups to this self-watering pot. And it was way too much, and the roots got waterlogged, and started rotting. And I didn't really notice anything was wrong until the leaves started dying back and looking like hell. So yeah, it was not a happy experience. It was a smaller plant. It didn't need as much, well, no, none of the plants needed as much moisture as I was giving them. No, that's not quite right. But anyway, the other plants were much larger that I put in these kind of pots, and they could make use of the moisture and used it up typically in 2 weeks. It was great. This plant, because it was smaller, did not. So yeah, this one's on me. You know I love some lacunosa. These leaves are very, very pretty. It has bloomed for me. I may even have pictures over here. And yeah, I'm just glad it's on the mend. Right now it's living in a west-facing window. So it's getting a lot of good light, but it's higher up, so it's getting more indirect light than direct. And it's in a bark and sphagnum and cocoa husk chunk and long fiber sphagnum mix in a self-watering pot. And I have another lacunosa in a similar setup, and that's my royal flush. And everybody's doing great in that setup. Chelsea, Hoya carnosa Chelsea's in it. This one is in it. I have a carnosa variegated in it. So this is a good setup if you just remember to drain it after you water it. So yeah, what can I say? I found this one in a big box store. One of those 2 that are popular in the US, probably over other places as well. So that's a good place to look because I got a decent sized pot of it for a very reasonable price. And had I been more attentive to what it was doing, it probably would be doing better now. But this one came from a big box store, and this one is my recovering Hoya lacunosa snowcaps. And the next one up for 3 years is my long-suffering Hoya pandurata, Vietnam. Now, Hoya pandurata is native to south-central China, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. It was first published in 1939 in Sun Yat-senia, Journal of the Botanical Institute, College of Architecture, Sun Yat-sen University, and it was published by Tiang Ying. And it was first collected in southern Yunnan. And I saw this one, see if I can do this well. I wanted it the first time I saw it, and that was on Miro's channel, I'm sure. And the leaves just struck me as beautiful. They still strike me as beautiful. It is in bloom right now, over here. And I should have some close-up pictures of that. This poor plant. I really like this plant. I think it's very pretty. I think it's the leaves are just gorgeous. I'll put some close-ups of them too, so you can appreciate the veining and the little bit of splash in them. This poor plant. I had it when I got it, and I should have a picture of what it looked like when it showed up. It was a nice little cutting. I was happy with it. And I put it in a small self-watering pot. And it grew. It grew really, really well. My experience with this plant and growing is like phenomenal. Did I say I was going to put a picture over here? I don't remember. I'm just talking. So if I have an early picture of it, I'll put it over here. If I haven't already done it, which I may have. But I put it in a nice little, 4-inch cube self-watering pot, and it grew. It was really happy. It grew really well. So well that the weight of the plant overcame the inertia of the pond, and the plant did a header off the shelf. Twice. So I realized I needed to do something, we needed to work with this. So I moved it into a larger self-watering pot and pond, the generic pond mix. And again, it took it maybe 3 months to recover from, 2 dives and a repot, but then it started growing again. It just grew. And then it jumped off the shelf again. It grew so much that the weight of the plant pulled it off. So I now have, you are not old enough to be in that drink. A 6-ounce fishing weight on the back side of this to try and keep it in position so that maybe between the weight of the pond and that 6-ounce weight, it won't jump off the shelf again. This is a thirsty plant. Be prepared. I endorse this plant. I really like this plant. I think it's very pretty. That's just neat. That's just neat. But it's thirsty, especially when it starts to get this size, because these vines are probably, my dentist hates it when I do this. The vines are at least 24 inches or 60 centimeters long from pot to the tip down here. I keep telling you how beautiful they are. They are just so pretty. They're long-ish. Let's see if I can do this without causing another disaster. I'm going to keep a hand on it. They are averaging about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters long and about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters wide. They tend to pull in slightly in the center and go a little vertical on the sides and then flatten out again. I think it's just a great plant. Considering all the abuse that this plant has put up with, 3 nosedives, and it usually lives up here, 3 nosedives off that shelf, drying out several times, occasional neglect. This is done really well. It's a very pretty plant. I think it would look nice climbing, but for me, it's a great trailing plant. Now it does take up, that's quite wide. That's probably, well, I don't have to do probably. I can do like real numbers. It is, so let's say that's, I'm going to say 90 centimeters wide, which is 2.5 feet, 3 feet. 90 centimeters should be 3 feet from side to side on this plant. I have rooted it. It roots easily. There's no issues with there. It blooms. As long as I keep up with the watering, I keep getting blooms like that, and I'll get blooms like that on almost every node. So it's a good plant. It's survived my tender care and everything else. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about this plant. It's beautiful, it blooms, it grows easily, no difficulties whatsoever. I mean, it didn't even hang out for very long once it got here. It started growing almost right away. So nothing but good to say about this gorgeous little kid. This one came from Plants Wake You Up, and this is Hoya pandurata, Vietnam. And the next one up is my Hoya australis lisa. Now, Hoya australis is native to Australia, as one would expect, to New South Wales, Northern Territory, Queensland, Western Australia. It's also found in Kalimantan in Indonesia, Sulawesi and Papua in Indonesia, to Sabah and Sarawak in Malaysia, to Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, the Solomon Islands, Tonga, Vanuatu, and the Wallis Fortuna Islands. But I believe that Lisa is subspecies tenuipes, and Hoya australis tenuipes is native to North Queensland and New Guinea. And it was first published in, australis as a species, first published in 1828, in Transactions of the Horticultural Society of London by Robert Brown. Now, this plant and I'm going to settle back. This plant and I have a story. I had wanted this when I first saw it because, of course, those leaves are just beautiful, and who wouldn't want one? But for a while, this was one of the it plants, and they were insanely expensive. And, you know, I'm half Scots, and I don't do expensive. So, oh, good. I waited and waited and waited, and I found one like at a super reasonable price, a nice little rooted plant at a very reasonable price. And I was shocked, but I ordered it right away. And so it came and arrived, and I set it up, and it was okay, but it didn't really grow. And so I gave it a couple months to be here and settle in and, you know, get itself happy, and it just didn't grow. And I thought, well, you know, I'm going to move it to my typical setup for my Hoyas, self-watering pot. So when I started pulling away the substrate that it was in, I saw the mesh plug. And oh, okay, well, that's why. That's what the problem was. So I cut the mesh plug out, opened it all up a little bit, spread it out in bark, and it started growing within a week or two. It was like, thank you for setting me free kind of thing. And it grew very, very well. And it's turned into, I took cuttings from it. I did an early video. There's now 3 cuttings in this pot. I did an early video of taking the cuttings and setting them up and then potting them in this. And in the wintertime, it grows in my bedroom in a west-facing window. And it seems to really like that. It's put out lots of beautiful new growth. It's a gorgeous plant. You know, it's just gorgeous. And again, no trouble, no trauma, no drama until I got those damn orchids that had mealybugs. And my orchids used to spend the winter in the same room as this. And so it got mealybugs. And I didn't notice for a while because I don't have issues with mealybugs in this room. I was very careful and cleaned this off before this came in here. But I don't have issues with mealybugs here, so I don't typically keep an eye out for them. But when I found them here, I found them on 2 other plants in there that had been near the orchids that are now gone. I got rid of all those orchids, like a dozen orchids that were so infested with mealybugs. Anyway, we won't talk about that episode. So I'm fighting with this one to get it back. It's in a self-watering pot, and the roots are just starting to come through. I think it needs a repotting. It needs a better trellis. I put together this trellis because I thought this was going to grow tall, and it will, but it hasn't been there yet, and it's not quite stable enough. It's got too much wiggle to it. So when the warmer weather comes, we are going to get resettled in. I think I'm going to try, the roots should be better developed than that. So I think I'm going to try something more toward my standard pumice pond mixture and see if we can't make it a little bit happier. See that the roots are in good condition, just give it a general checking, and then put it on a stable, optimistic trellis. I think that'll do really well. Yeah, we're struggling. We want this one to survive, so I'm working it. I'm in there every couple of days, like spraying it down with alcohol, and there's Pure Crop 1 in my nutrient solution, so hopefully that is, again, I have no scientific evidence of this, but I think that has helped keep the mealybug infestations that I have, this mealybug infestation, to a minimum. The fact that this thing is getting that on a regular basis. I'm not endorsing that product. However, if they want to talk to me, I'm open to talk. But anyway, yeah, it's a gorgeous plant. What are you doing up there? It's a gorgeous plant. It's done really well. It will do better because I'm going to get it in a better setup, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, this is really cool. This one came from Little Prince Plants on their website, and this is my Hoya australis tenuipes Lisa. And I'm going to try introducing a new part of these videos. And I do question for the comments later on. Well, I'm going to try doing questions from the comments. So if you have questions about stuff, post them in the comments section and I will try and answer them. I have been trying to answer everyone's questions, but sometimes it takes me a couple days. And I don't know that everybody gets a chance to see what I think is going on with your questions. So this may be a way that we all get to share a little bit of information. So the first one that I got this week was from Sherry Simpson 7505, and she asked, what's the difference between pon and pumice? And that's a really good question. So pumice is a naturally occurring, lightweight, extremely porous volcanic glass. It resists breakdown, and it provides better drainage than perlite and better water retention. It's a great way to add airiness to your soil. Perlite can break down. Pumice will break down too. You can crush it, but it's more resistant to that than perlite. It is light enough to float, just as perlite is. But in my experience, whereas perlite will migrate to the surface of your pot after a while, pumice doesn't tend to do that. So that's what pumice is. It's usually light gray in color. It holds a lot of moisture and it's great for aeration. It's also not terribly expensive. Pon, on the other hand, is usually a combination of different types of volcanic rock. So generic pon usually has lava rock, pumice, and zeolite in it. All of those are known for being light and airy and for holding a decent amount of moisture in all the little nooks and crannies, just like an English muffin. They also hold up better and don't break down the way perlite will. Now, brand name pon often has long-term or slow release fertilizer added to it, something like Osmocote. So a lot of people say that, I moved my plants to brand name pon, and they absolutely loved it. Well, of course they did. It was a nice, light, airy mix, and it had lots of fertilizer in it. So, not lots, but it had a, slow release fertilizer in it. So of course they loved it and responded well. I buy a generic pond, and because I use it in self-watering and I use my nutrient solution, I don't add any extra fertilizer because I really don't need to. So usually pond will contain pumice, but not necessarily, but usually. It doesn't hurt to add a little bit more pumice to a pond mixture. And both pond and pumice will come in different sizes. So I usually have two different sizes of pumice around. I have a small size, like 1/4 inch or less, and then I have like a 3/8 inch size. And the 3/8 inch is what I use for like my philodendrons and my alocasia. It's a little bit airier and lighter weight. So yeah, good question. Thank you. And the question for the comments this week is, what's the plant that you're still surprised is with you? No, what's the plant that you're surprised is still with you? And for me, that's my pandurata Vietnam. That poor plant has been through, well, I told you, a lot. You know, nosers off the shelf and underwatering and a lot of neglect. But I'm really glad it's still here, although that does surprise me from time to time. So in the comments below, tell me what the plant is in your collection that's still there and you're surprised about that. There's got to be a better way of phrasing that. But yeah, in the comments below, we'll see what hilarity ensues after that question. And if you're still with me, thank you very much. Stick around to the end just to mess with the YouTube algorithm. And I'd like to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember to click that thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and the hype button if you're on a mobile device. A lot of the products that you may have seen me use are available through my Amazon storefront. There's a link in the description, or you can scan this QR code to visit the storefront. I receive a small commission on the sales, and it doesn't affect your price whatsoever, but it's a great way of supporting the channel by buying things that you normally would. If you're in the market for grow lights, I have a relationship with Sansi Corporation, and if you use this QR code and this discount code, when you follow either the QR code or the link in the description, you'll receive a 30% discount from the products you find on the site. My Sansi lights have been working really well for me, and I think you'll find something that will be helpful for you when you visit their site. If you'd like to support the channel directly, here's a QR code, and there's a link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Or you can click the thanks button down here, and YouTube handles everything for the thanks button. I'm going to put links, as usual, to a few more videos that you may find entertaining or educational. And please enjoy the rest of your week's end.